Massage therapy is an amazing career, but unfortunately, most schools give you a bunch of knowledge and they give you some practice time, but probably not enough to really feel super comfortable with all of the things that you learned and potentially integrate all those things into something useful, right? And so you often leave school feeling like there's so many things that you learn, but you never know what to do right now, right? And so I want to give you some tips that will help you to integrate all that knowledge and apply it a lot easier and more quickly so that you can feel more comfortable working with clients. Let's get to it. Okay, one of the big challenges that you're going to face as a new therapist in school is that you only get to work on your fellow classmates and some people that they put together for clinics, neither of which are actually experienced massage therapists who can give you really solid, useful feedback. If you're lucky, maybe you get to do a practical or two on a teacher who's got experience and can give you really good, valuable feedback. I know that when I went to school 17 years ago, we did one practical. And I got great feedback from that practical, but that was the only massage I got to give to somebody who really knew how to give a massage. And so that is likely to be your experience. Your fellow classmates also don't know what they're doing either and aren't necessarily the best people to give you feedback about what you're up to. If you want to get ahead and really get your skills together, I highly, highly recommend either before you leave school or immediately after, asking and begging, and I mean it, begging, that your teachers allow you to work on them for free in their own offices for feedback. I asked 3 or 4 of my teachers to let me work on them 4 or 5 times each. I worked on them in their own offices. I didn't make a dime. And it was the best thing that I ever did for myself in my career. I got the best feedback that really helped me grow and accelerate exponentially faster. I walked into my first job feeling super confident that I knew what I was doing because my teachers told me that, right? Because they actually got massages from me. They didn't just see me giving them to other people in school. They actually received the work and were able to immediately give me improvements and better feedback and ways that I could really get there a lot quicker. And so by the time I got into my first actual work experience on shift, I was way more confident about what I was doing than I would have been had I not essentially given away 20 plus hours of my time for free. It's so worth it. Be willing to do it. It's the best thing that you could ever do for yourself. Tip number 2, you are gonna forget a lot of things that you learned at school, especially the things that you learned at the beginning of school. I remember when we covered kinesiology, how we covered the lower leg first. And by the time we finished all of the other 600 muscles in the body, I didn't remember any of the muscles of the lower leg. And so I had to be willing to bring my textbook with me. And I used to do this. I used to get on the subway to go to work with a big giant textbook in my bag, and I'd flip it open and just review all of it every single day. And it matters. You know, if you think you're just gonna learn all the muscle names and bones to pass the test, but then be able to just forget it all and do it all on feel, you're really gonna be doing yourself a disservice. And you're gonna be doing your clients a disservice. So much of the higher level, more medical advanced work that you could be doing that help people really requires like a strong facility with the anatomy. And so just being willing after you graduate and after you get licensed to still consider yourself a student and consistently review and try and test your knowledge and integrate it is going to be really, really valuable. You'll walk into work feeling much more confident about what you're doing. You'll get inspiration. Potentially, if you flip open the book and you're like, oh, right, the quads, you might get inspired to work on muscles that you currently feel less comfortable with. And I would also say this, anywhere on the body that you don't feel comfortable with, you should be studying that until you do feel comfortable with it. Be willing to be a student forever, honestly. I still learn stuff 17 years in, but especially that first year to 2 years outside of school, just keep testing yourself, reviewing, trying to learn more, making sure that you know all of the anatomy. This is like tip 2B. This is like an add-on. So I just talked about being willing to keep studying. One of the ways that this will probably work better for you is if you pick one area of the body per month and just focus on really mastering that, both from reviewing the anatomy, but also in reviewing how to work on the area with manual therapy. And so you could stay, all right, a lot of clients really like neck work. Let me spend the next month continually reviewing all of the neck muscles, continually practicing all this, looking for opportunities with my clients to practice neck work over and over, even if they're coming in for shoulder or even if they're coming in for hip, being able to relate it to the neck in some way. And then once you do that for a whole month, you'll start to feel way more comfortable with neck work. And then you can pick something different: shoulders, knees, ankles, wrists. Keep cycling through areas of the body and just really dialing in on all of the knowledge that you could have and all of the skills that you could have to work on those areas. And if you just keep doing that consistently, you're going to learn the body and integrate all your knowledge much faster. Another tip: be willing to work on stuff that you're not sure that you're great at yet. You're going to get plenty of people who just want a nice full body massage, and you should, even as a brand new therapist, feel at least reasonably comfortable to provide that. But then you're going to get clients who are going to talk about their issues and their pain. And you might get a little skittish and be like, oh, but I'm new, I'm not ready yet. Be willing to work on those clients as long as it's not contraindicated. And be willing to do a session that you're not as happy with, because that's the only way that you're gonna get that experience and the only way that you're gonna consistently learn. I've had sessions, for instance, where clients brought in something I've never heard of before. I had a really great regular client come in years ago and talk about the fact that their doctor had x-rayed their toe trying to figure out why it was in pain, and found out that they had totally crushed the sesamoid bones underneath the ball of their big toe. I didn't even know what those were. We didn't really learn about those in school. And so I had to sit there and go, what? Oh, let me Google that. And I literally Googled that in front with the client sitting there and said, oh, that's what's going on. Well, I don't know if I can help you, but I can try. Let's see if I can do anything for this. And I tried and apparently did pretty good, right? And then I was also willing to go home and read all about that particular condition and spend a few hours extra on my own time for no pay learning about it, so that I could feel much better about working with him in future sessions, and potentially now start to work with additional clients with that issue. And I've done that with so many different pain issues that people come in with, is just having that willingness to be like, well, I don't know, but let me find out as much as I can about it and see if massage therapy can help you. And having that willingness to work outside of your comfort zone is really important, and that is actually how you will accelerate much, much faster in this industry. Last tip for the day is be willing to talk to your coworkers, right? If you're fresh out of school, I guarantee you somebody at your office has more experience and more years in the field than you do. They probably know more than you do about working with specific issues. And so be willing to ask for their advice on working on specific issues, especially if you have a client that comes in with something that you're not so sure about. You can even tell that client, hey, I'm not so sure about that. I'm gonna talk to my boss and get their take on it. And clients really appreciate that. Right? Your coworkers are going to be more than willing to help you out. We've all been there in that spot that you're in right now where you don't feel like you know what you're doing. And we all really want to help you get there, right? So be open to asking for advice and totally take advantage of that opportunity. All right, so there you go. Some of my top tips for helping you integrate all the stuff that you learned in school and actually pull it together to a place where maybe you start to feel much more comfortable about seeing clients, doing the work, and providing really good work on a consistent basis. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe, and we think you'll like this one too.